In this lecture, we will discuss bonsai culture. Bonsai is a combination of two Japanese words, bon meaning shallow pan and sai meaning plant, which can be translated as tray planting. Value of bonsai. Why we are going for bonsai culture? Bonsai culture is very fascinating when we grow it outdoors. It is also favorable in indoor conditions such in a places as living room, verandas, terraces, etc. The city dwellers can take advantage of this culture. Not only flower and leaves, but also the artistic look of the plant in a miniature form maintained for many years is also fascinating. Criteria for selecting the plant. Among the various factors that determine the suitability of a plant as a bonsai, the foremost is its hardiness. It should stand the rigors of growing in a shallow container, withstand the operation of pruning of roots, branches, and tough training, but still manifest itself as a lively replica of a normal plant. All bonsai specimens which have a trunk which looks natural, artistic, can be used. The growth of such plants should be in harmony with the container where it stands, and the branches should also reflect a rhythm consistent with the artistic value. The trees whose trunks are strong and thick at the ground level give a good appearance. The plant which shows seasonal variation in growth pattern and flowering are greatly favored. For example, some trees are like Adansonia digitata, Adenanthera pavonina. Some other trees are like Berberis thunbergia, Butea monosperma, Calestimon lanceolatus, Ficus religiosa, Ficus retusa, Jacaranda, Kigelia pinnata, Mangifera indica, etc. Some shrubs are like Adenium obesum, Azalea, Berberis asiatica, Fortunella japonica, Hemelia patens, Jatropha, Murraya exotica, etc. Conifers for bonsai making. Juniperus chinensis, Pinus cassianum, in temperate area like Cedrus deodara, Cryptomeria japonica, Ginkgo biloba, Picea ixela, Pinus densiflora, Texas baccata, etc. Classification of bonsai. Bonsai can be classified on the two bases. First, by the shape of the trunk, second, by the number of trees grown in a single pot. Based on the trunk, it is classified as upright, winding, oblique, gennard, and cascade. First one is upright or chonkan style. As you can see, in this style, a single specimen is grown with a straight and upright stem. Second is winding or Kyokyo style. In this style, a single trunk is twisted once or several times, showing as it has struggled for its existence in the wild. Third one is oblique or shrunken style. This also referred to as a wind style. The plant is grown in an oblique position as if swept by the wind and consequently sometimes have more branches on one side. Fourth one is Jannard or Hunkan style. This differs a little from the winding style. Here the trunk is twisted near the ground once or twice to form a knob or a loop. Fifth one is Cascade or Kengai style. Here the trunk hangs over the edge of a container as if it was hanging over the edge of mountain. Based on the number of trees grown in a single pot, it is classified in two ways. First, Ikadi Bukadi style. A tree is often laid or trained horizontally and several branches are allowed to grow vertically at intervals resembling individual tree. Alternatively, two or three plants of the same kind may be planted in a single container. Another method is the cluster bonsai where several branches are allowed to grow from ground level in a cluster manner. Second is collapse to stone style. A single tree is grown with its root trained over a stone or some blocks of boiler ash. Plants grown in this way presents the look of age and tenacity. Container and soil. While selecting a container, it must be kept in mind the meaning of bonsai. Although the choice of a container depends to a certain extent on the personal choice of the grower. Whatever may be the shape, the container must be shallow. The shape may be round, oval or rectangular. For a single upright stem, an oval or a round container will suit better, while for the cascade or ikadi bukadi style, a rectangular container looks more artistic. An unglazed container is preferred to a glazed one as the former allows the aeration of the soil. A container should always have one or two drainage holes depending on the size. No ornament should be used in a container which will detract attention from the bonsai. If any ornament is to be used at all, it should be small and of antique type. A bonsai remain in its container for at least 1 year and some may remain for 2 to 3 years without repotting. The compost used should be of such a nature that it will not become waterlogged or sour and should not be rich in fertilizer. The chemical reaction of the soil should be closely to neutrality, that is, not very acidic or alkaline. A good compost will be made up of 2 parts of a good fibrous loam, 1.5 part of a coarse river sand, and 1 part of leaf mold. Potting and repotting. While potting or repotting, the normal precautions taken for other plants are followed. The drainage holes are covered with crocks and other drainage material and the compost filled in. The compost should not be packed too hard as this impairs aeration. A straight bonsai is planted in the center of the pot, whereas a cascade type should be planted on one side, the side over which it hangs. A tree having more branches on one side should be planted a little away from the center, with the heavier side running over the larger portion of the soil. Some attractive pebbles may be scattered over the surface, which will prevent the soil from becoming hard due to water falling directly over the soil. After potting, the plant should be kept in shade for a few days. The repotting operation is essential the same as for potting. The fast growing plants will need repotting every year, while the slow growing ones may be repotted every 2 or 3 years. The plant is taken out gently with the earth ball and all the drainage material is removed. 1/3 of the old subsoil and a portion of the surface soil are removed. Soil stuck up between a few of the roots may be removed with the help of pointed but not sharp stick of pencil thickness. Any root that is longer than what can be accommodated in the container is cut with a sharp knife or secateur just about 2 cm away from the side of the container. The plant is then placed in a position and a new compost is filled in. The plant is immediately watered. No wiring or pruning should be done up to at least 6 months or a year after repotting. Training of bonsai. The bending and training should be done as soon as it is possible to tie a wire, but some of the plant with a soft bark will damage it wired if wired very early. For training and bending, copper wire is best as it is pliable. The gauge or you can say thickness of the wire depend upon the specimen, but this should be soft enough to work with. Before using the wire, this should be heated to make it pliable, then cooled before using. But once used for winding after heating, the wire gradually regains its original strength. When the wire is to be reused, it should be heated again. When wiring a branch, first wind the wire round the trunk several times and then around the branch. While winding a branch, the union with the trunk is to be held with one hand or otherwise the joint may snap. The wire coil should be placed evenly about 0.5 to 0.6 cm apart. To give the specific shape, the wire has to be in place for several years, but rewinding is to be done every 6 months or so to avoid the injury to the bark. For slow growing plants, the wire can be kept in a position for about a year. A lapse of a few months should be allowed between two winding. It is always advisable, especially for tender specimen, to wind the branches first with a cotton tape and then wind the wire over this to avoid injury. Pruning and pinching. In establishing the bonsai, training and pruning go together. A bonsai is kept dwarf not by starving but by the various methods of pruning such as shoot pruning, leaf pinching and root pruning. Pruning or pinching of shoots is an important operation in bonsai growing. This helps in maintaining the shape of the plant and reduce the total leaf area, which in turn keep the plant dwarf as it is the leaf where the food is manufactured. The amount, the mode and the time of pinching depends upon the growth habit, response to pinching and the rate of shoot growth of the species. Pinching of the branches is also not done at the same length or direction, but a different length to give an artistic shape. If the plant grows very vigorously, pinching may be restored to more than once a year. It should not be done frequently as such pruning will give risk to a weak shoot growth. A further method of reducing the leaf area is done by leaf pinching. This is done with a vigorous growing deciduous trees at the time of active growth. Leaf pinching is done only once a year in addition to the normal fall of the leaf. This can be done either by removing all the leaves from just above the petiole or by reducing the leaf area. Third type of pruning is root pruning. During transplanting and repotting time, the root pruning is done as it has been described earlier. Watering and manuring. During winter, watering once a week is recommended, while in summer, watering 3 times a day is done. During rain, watering should be reduced depending upon the weather condition. One way of ensuring whether or not a plant needs watering is to tap the container with a wooden hammer on the sides. If a dull sound comes out of the plant, should not be water, but if there is a ringing tone, the plant needs watering. Manuring. Manuring once a month during the growing season is recommended. Ferment 1 kg of mustard cake or groundnut cake in 4 to 5 liters of water for about a week and then dilute this solution 5 to 10 times and apply to each plant. This will produce a healthy plant. Mame bonsai. Growing of a very dwarf plant not exceeding a height of 5 to 20 centimeters is known as mame bonsai or a miniature bonsai. In this, the shallow pan is used containing not more than 2 to 3 centimeters of compost. The plant which can be used for making mame bonsai are acer, azalea, barbaris, salix, pinus, picea and cryptomeria japonica.